Hey, thanks for joining me for a walk in the park. This is the 10th episode of me doing this. And like I said yesterday, I started cutting down all of this footage. I had like almost 14 hours of footage of when I had my year without money, and I was first talking about this idea of the unbroken path. And it's been really interesting going through it again, because I think I've cut it down now to about 11 hours and 15 minutes. I think I have like 127 little less than 1 minute videos I'm going to be putting out there as a way to, get out there and express what it was I was thinking back then. And interestingly enough, as I keep going through it, I'm finding that it's all coming back around, and these are ideas that keep coming up as I kind of move forward with what I'm doing, putting out the Money 6 Power Facebook, and then moving on to the ABC Squared economics ideology. And so it's been a really interesting process. I've kind of gotten into a bit of a flow state for the last few days and just got into my zone, and been trying not to neglect other things that I also need to be doing. But it's hard when you get into a project that you really enjoy doing to not get into that state and just keep wanting to do it. But I'm dragging myself away from the computer and doing some other stuff on the computer as well, and then bringing myself out here. But this whole idea that things keep coming around is interesting, that it's all connected. And I think one of the ways, and this is just kind of not a shameful plug because it's not my show, but last year at the Sarasolo Festival, I debuted my Will Rogers Revived show. And if you don't know, Will Rogers was the biggest celebrity of his time around the 20s and 30s. And one of the dudes who was also around then at that time and who Will Rogers admired a lot was Charles Lindbergh. And this year at the Sarasolo Festival, there's a Charles Lindbergh performance as well, a one-person performance. And Charles was one of those guys who was, kind of America's sweetheart for a while, because he, flew across the Atlantic, was the first dude to do that. And then he had his baby kidnapped and murdered. And so we felt a lot of things for him, because he just did these amazing, seemingly heroic things. And then he also went through such tragedy as well. So we felt for him on a lot of levels. But he also had this kind of a dark side. He was kind of anti-Semitic and did a lot of bad things that we consider bad. But he wasn't the perfect person that a lot of us would like our heroes to be. And so I am looking forward to the show, and it's actually a month from today. Today is the 2nd, and so it'll be on Groundhog Day, Saturday night, at the Sarasolo Festival at Crocker Church. So I do recommend you go and check out this show, just because it seems to be a pretty extraordinary life that he led, and probably has a lot of different degrees to it, and also because Will Rogers liked him. And I'll be doing my Will Rogers show on the 25th at Longboat Key Education Center. But looking at these two guys, because Will didn't seem to have that dark side. He was just a really nice guy who everybody liked. Now, looking back at his one of his first films, The Rope and Fool, I don't think PETA would like him very much, because he, roped animals and he threw them down on the ground, and that wouldn't fly too well these days, and doesn't fly too well for the cowboys who still do it. But he wasn't anti-Semitic, and he liked, even in his films, he liked, there was a film, I forget which one it was called, but he's a judge in it, and these rich white people, property owners, bring this black dude to the court and try to, say he's fishing on their property and stuff like that. And so Will automatically asks what kind of fish he's catching, and when he finds out that they're biting out there, he goes out on a fishing trip with this guy, and that's the kind of guy he was. Charles Lindbergh was not that kind of guy, but he still did amazing things that I think moved us forward as a people, although he did have some fallibilities and some short-sightedness. And you could say you understand that because of the fact that he went through such tragedy. But it could also be he just learned bad lessons, and a lot of us do. And he made some bad choices along the way as well, and a lot of us do. So as I am watching myself say words that mattered to me 6 years ago, and then listening to those words now and realizing the mistakes that I've made and the bad lessons that I've learned along the way and even before then, it's interesting that it still comes full circle, and I'm still finding myself on the unbroken path and continuing to learn and grow and all that. And as I was working on this video the other day, Teddy, the 14-year-old who lives in my house with me, asked how long I was going to be working on this project, and I said pretty much till I die, because I think it's going to take a lot of different iterations as things grow and as I continue to spend time just talking to you guys out in the internet world and collect more footage of me doing so. I'll be editing it down into things you can bite onto, because here I'm at 5 minutes and 55 seconds, and I know a lot of people aren't still listening if they tuned in at all. But if I could say something in a minute, they might be able to listen. So in a minute, go see the Charles Lindbergh thing at Sarasolo Festival, and go see some other of the one-person performances at Sarasolo Festival. It's always a lot of really eclectic blend of performers, so go do that. And that begins at the end of January, the last weekend, and the first weekend of February. So go check that out. And I'll talk to you soon with something a little deeper tomorrow, but I've got to do some rehearsing today for both my Will Rogers show and this dinner theater thing that I'm doing. That's should be a lot of fun. And so I have rehearsal for that tonight. So gotta go do other stuff. It's been nice talking to you. Enjoy this walk in the park, and I will talk to you soon.